everybody out there in comic book land? My name is George Serrano, aka The Don, and if you're listening to this, you can only be here for one reason. That's a brand new episode of the Major Issues Podcast, brought to you each and every week by comicbookclick.com. And as always, I am never alone. Sir, if you could please introduce yourself.
Yo, what's good, everyone? It's your boy A-Rob, the Marvel God in the house.
Rob answered the call to action because we are here to talk about the six Godzilla one-shots. I just realized that my laptop fan is going bananas at the moment, so we're just going to go ahead and turn that sucker down. But now that we're calm, cool, and collected, we can get loud talking about the King of Monsters and his interaction with some Marvel folk. These one-shots came out a little bit earlier this year. I want to say Thor maybe came out a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're I mean, am I wrong? I feel like we're getting this huge resurgence of Godzilla in comics lately.
Yeah, no, a lot of these old franchises are like having a resurgence nowadays. Like Predator came back, the aliens who came through like a little bit ago. Now we getting Godzilla. So, I'm here for it all.
Yeah. Yeah. Um what's interesting about these series of one shots is I think that they're a little bit what's the word? Uh gosh, false advertisement. There's a little bit I think there's am I wrong? I feel like there's a little bit of
No.
false advertisement with some of these fights that are supposed to be happening. I feel like some of them I mean in classic versus fashion, I'm wearing my my Friday the 13th Freddy Jason shirt because I remember how big of a crossover that was, Freddy versus Jason.
Right.
But even at a young age like that, it kind of taught me the golden rule of crossovers, which means no one is allowed to look bad because they did not give us a definitive winner in that movie. And at one point gave them both an enemy that they could team up to fight against. And we've seen this a million times. It's Batman versus Superman on the screen, but ultimately it's Batman and Superman versus Doomsday. And I feel like each one of these stories found a third antagonist or a third person, third party to kind of come in and make it easier for our friends to to join the fight.
It did feel that way. I did like a lot of these stories I was reading out like just the cover of it, like what was happening. Like I'm like, oh, I know how this is about to go. That only happened for like three of them for real. So half of the stories like I knew like this a specific thing was gonna happen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But like the third party thing, yeah, that's for sure. Like it makes sense. That's like the Godzilla like formula almost
yeah.
to like a T. Like it's always Godzilla versus someone, then oh, here comes another monster, then they team up against that monster.
I mean, it literally happened with Godzilla and uh Kong.
Yeah.
Like they just was like, oh, by the way, here's Mecha Godzilla or whoever. Always adding a third person to the party. I love the podcast The Weekly Planet. That's the podcast from Sunday Movies, and they call this genre first they fight a bit and then they're mates, which is what a lot of these kind of crossovers are. But with six crossovers and six unique creative teams, they're all a little bit of a different flavor. So I didn't tell you this off air, but what I'm going to ask you to do is kind of like rank them out of five Godzillas, which of enjoyment.
Okay.
What you think, and we will go ahead and get in our recap and review unless you had anything you wanted to say up front before we got very spoilery.
Up front, I'm a huge Godzilla fan. Been a Godzilla fan since 1999.
Yeah. Since that
Godzilla 2000.
yeah.
Like, and ever since the resurgence of the new Godzilla movies, I'm just a blooming new, like, I have all new, I want more Godzilla.
My favorite bit of lore from the Godzilla 1999 film is that they had to show it eventually to the creators of the Godzilla franchise, and supposedly like they all like just got very quiet and like left the room and then came back and just was like, okay, go ahead and do what you got to do. But even funnier is I also heard that in Japan they call the American version of Godzilla Zilla.
Yeah,
because he is
the
without
bastardized
God.
version of him.
He is without God. So he is just they're so upset with and I think Shin Godzilla killed American Godzilla in like one of those where he
Yeah,
fought all the monsters.
yeah.
He killed the
He
shit
did.
out of
He
our
killed.
version.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm not a fan of Zilla.
No?
I'm a fan of Godzilla 2000, which made me go back and watch all the movies from like the 50s and 60s and 70s and
Yeah.
stuff. Like I'm a huge Godzilla fan. Ever since the Toho, yeah, y'all did it right,
That
man.
and you can tell that these stories were um ran by Toho. There's a lot more
Mhm.
Godzilla lore I thought in this than there would have been originally. I thought this would have been mostly Godzilla in the Marvel world, but there's a lot of the Godzilla world that bleeds through, which makes these things a bit more compelling, especially if you know your Godzilla history. Um,
Mhm.
I I'm a fan of Godzilla, but I wouldn't say I'm necessarily a historian. But I did like -1 blew my mind, like absolutely blew my mind. I'm not someone that would like takes notes or tries to write big flowery reviews after I watch stuff, but I felt compelled to tell people you need to go check out this film.
Facts. Yeah.
And oftentimes, or I think it portrays Godzilla in the best way that he can be, which they kind of do here, which is that he's just like this force of nature that just shows up, and you kind of have to
Mhm.
deal with it.
Yep.
You can't really punch a
Yep.
tornado, right? You can't really punch a flash flood. You can do what you can to try to prevent it, but ultimately, if it's powerful enough, it will just crash through, and then you just gotta hope that it leaves for long enough for you to recover, and then even then, it could always just happen again. Poor
Yeah.
Japan. poor poor Japan just dealing with these kaijus over and over and over again. We're talking about an IP with dozens upon dozens of films, so many different adventures, so many introduction of not only kaiju but like like Jet Jaguar, right? Like characters like that who are
Mhm.
able to come in and sort of do battle with these kaiju as well. So we're gonna get into all the fun, full spoilers up front for these six one shots, and let's start off with the first one: Godzilla versus the Fantastic Four, written by writer Ryan North and penciler John Romita Jr. Another thing I wanted to mention is I think it's extremely interesting that each one of these is placed at a very particular time in Marvel history. Each one of these stories, like
Mhm.
I thought this would like just take place. I thought these were kind of like gonna fold into each other, like in the same year, possibly in the same week, kind of deals. But
Right.
each one of these stories takes place at a very particular time in that character or team's history. And so this one, I want to say it's right after the events of If This Be Doomsday, where Galactus comes down with the Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer, pushes him. Oh no, I'm getting the movie mixed up. The Silver Surfer helps. The Silver Surfer helps us defeat Galactus, and he chooses Earth to be his place. So when we start in this, Galactus is pissed. In the universe, Galactus is pissed. Silver Surfer is on Earth, and the Fantastic Four are dealing with Godzilla. But let's get into it. Uh, so it starts off with the Fantastic Four springing into action when Godzilla appears in New York, heading straight for the Statue of Liberty. Mr. Fantastic recalls their last attempt to stop him in Tokyo, which ended with Dr. Serizawa's self sacrifice to defeat the monster. Serizawa. Know that, man?
Yeah, man. Oh, the oxygen bomb. Oh my goodness. That name. That is synonymous. That name is almost synonymous with Godzilla. Like it just goes together. You can't have Godzilla without a Serizawa. Like you just can't. You
And
can't.
I think that's interesting to then put them in the book of Marvel's First Family. You can't talk about Marvel without the Fantastic Four, right? So it's like you're kind of doing
Right.
origins of both of these guys here. Um, but this time they're not too late. The Thing, Invisible Woman, and Human Torch strike first, followed by Mr. Fantastic, who knocks Godzilla out cold with a single punch. Their easy victory is short lived. Godzilla quickly recovers and blasts the team with his atomic breath. Barely shielded by Invisible Woman, the heroes retreat to the Baxter building. I thought this was interesting too because it's like, oh,
Ooh,
we got to
man.
retreat. You know what I'm saying? Like, we
Yeah,
can't.
no. Shouts out to Sue because once again she's showing how powerful she is, how she's the most powerful member of the team, constantly showing it. Because that atomic breath is nothing to scoff at. Just the radiation alone
Yeah,
can kill anything. Not even the fire, just the radiation alone.
yeah.
And she shielded them. She tanked that. She tanked it.
But she did. Yeah. And like it's so crazy. It's gotten so crazy that they're like, you know what? Reed's like, you know what? I'm just gonna hook up the Baxter building to blow, like to like take all the power in the city, run it to the Baxter building, and then if Godzilla attacks the Baxter building, he'll just get hit with this massive, burst of energy. And they're like, okay, so what are you gonna do? He's like, I'm gonna die. He's like, I'm just gonna stay with it. I'm gonna die. And they're like, what are you talking about? And they, basically refuse to leave him. And when Godzilla attacks the building, the trap does work. He falls in an explosion of light, and he seemingly defeats. Their relief is shattered as the sky interrupts in cosmic fire, same flames the Watcher once used to hide Earth from Galactus. So this covered it a couple weeks ago. This was exactly what took place when the Silver Surfer and Galactus were looking for Earth. Watcher tried to hide it with cosmic fire. But if Silver Surfer is already on Earth, who is he hiding it from? Dun dun dun. The new Herald, a Silver King Ghidorah, descends
Holy shit.
through the inferno. The Fantastic Four, exhausted, know they are no match for this cosmic foe. I think that's the end. Right? I feel like
Right?
if King Ghidorah was imbued with the power cosmic, game over, bro. Like
Jesus.
game over. It now I may be pushing your historian brain a little bit too far, but is King Ghidorah the same monster as Monster Zero?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
I love that Monster Zero movie, by the way. I love that they were basically tricked to go to another planet and like fuck with this monster. So seeing King Ghidorah here, legendary Godzilla kaiju. But again, Galactus and the Power Cosmic. Were you surprised at all that with King Ghidorah's inclusion in this?
I was beside myself. I was like, holy shit, because like I wasn't expecting that at all. So I was like, okay, so clearly they have to team up to stop them.
Yeah.
Like,
Now,
come on,
no
guys,
more,
gotta
no
get
more
up now.
games
Come
anymore,
on.
right? Yeah, like no more. I know we had a misunderstanding, but we're gonna have to team up to take out this big bastard. Because again, I
Right.
think King Ghidorah on its own is an Avengers level threat. You add the
Oh
power
yeah.
cosmic, and I'm just like, okay, what do you do here? But our boy Norrin shows up, the Silver Surfer. He arrives, and seeing no other way to win, he transfers his power cosmic to Godzilla. Godzilla is now here. Cosmic Godzilla. And the new empowered Godzilla battles King Ghidorah, but the Herald holds his own. Fantastic Four join the fight with Invisible Woman creating a giant light bending illusion of the thing to distract the enemy, and it worked. Again, smartest person on the team, right? Like easily figuring all
Mhm.
this kind of shit out. Um, the gambit works, and Godzilla takes the opportunity to blast Ghidorah with a fusion of his atomic breath and the power cosmic. And anytime they do atomic breath in these 6 issues, it's amazing. Last pages of just power are there. And that blast with the irregular atomic breath and the power cosmic was able to strip Ghidorah of his silver armor. So Ghidorah does what Ghidorah does and runs the fuck away. flies into the distance. So Godzilla gives the power cosmic back to the server because he's like, y'all all crazy. All of this was fucking crazy. Y'all all crazy. Y'all could keep this. I'm going back to the water. Um, but like Reed remarks, he's like, oh, this isn't over, especially Galactus. Remember what happened here. I'm a little sad we never got back around here. It kind of just ended with this. Does this seem like it would? This is what would happen in a Godzilla film, given all
Oh
the
yeah.
factors?
I'll pay to see this. I
Yeah,
would pay to see this.
yeah.
I would, yes. I would I would pay to see this as a film. Hell yeah. This is literally the formula. Like, there's always a misunderstanding between Godzilla and the main party. Up, here comes the third party. Up, they need the first party and second party to team up against the third party. Up, and we walk away and call it a day.
Godzilla needs a better PR manager because if it wasn't for all these misunderstandings, these villains wouldn't be showing the fuck up and trying to stop Stick, right? They're like, oh, trust me, he'll get on Earth and everyone will just start fighting him and then we'll just show the fuck up and take over this whole thing. That's the plan all the time. And it's because as soon as Godzilla shows up on Earth, it's hands. Like they gotta throw hands with my man.
Yeah.
So, how many Godzillas does Godzilla versus Fantastic earn? Your mind.
I give this one. I give this one 4 Godzillas.
Four Godzillas. That's pretty damn good. That's pretty damn good. Um, it was very interesting to watch. I think they took this more in the scientific and the more in the explorer sort of route, given the Fantastic Four, and then we'll
Mhm.
kind of with our next story in Godzilla and Hulk. I think we'll go more into, like you said, the kaiju monster tragedy version of what Godzilla is, because he was always
Mm.
meant to serve as a sort of commentary with a nuclear war and the
Yeah, allegory for nuclear testing and stuff.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it's to me it's always screamed about the idea that you can't just do shit like that and then act like nothing happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just drop massive atomic weapons that scar an entire continent, country, people, culture, and then act like nothing happens. Godzilla is like the after effect, the side effect of the monstrosity, the monstrous things that we do to each other. He is the embodiment of that. Even though he got no beef with us for the most part,
Mm.
because again, does rain have beef with us when it floods? Not really. Just we're just
Damn.
in the way, right?
Right. There's
Yeah.
that's what's tragic about that. Cause like when you see a volcano erupt or like a hurricane off in the ocean, it's beautiful. But when it interacts with humanity,
Mm-hmm.
that's when it's tragic. And that's
Yeah.
what it is with Godzilla. Because Godzilla is cool, but once he starts walking through a city, it's like, oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. So let's get to Godzilla versus the Hulk. Writer Jerry Duggan and art by Giuseppe Camincoli. So at Thunderbolt Ranch, General Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross plans to capture Godzilla once and for all. He scoffs at the rumors that the Hulk is at the ranch, claiming that the monster is dead. In truth, Bruce Banner is there, kept in secret. Now, this, I don't know what part of the Hulk's history this is taking place in, where Banner is presumed dead. He seems very surprised when he sees him later, or
I'm
at least the
like,
Hulk is presumed.
right, because I'm like, there's been several times like throughout this character's history where he's been dead. Like even in Civil War 2, even I think recently too. And then there's an Immortal Hulk. Like
Hold on.
there's so many times.
I want to see something. Uh, Bruce Banner faked the Hulk's death. See what I can come up with over here, because that's uh nope, 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 nope. I'm not seeing anything here. This is the short answer to your question is not a simple yes or no. The Yeah, I mean, the Hulk's persona was believed to be dead after a gamma bomb explosion, which then allowed him to do Mister Fix It. And I think he's constantly trying to act as if he's dead. I mean, remember the whole Hawkeye thing? Like, the Hawkeye killed him in one of
Yeah,
the instances, and he was brought back, and then he just kind of went on his own because he wants everyone to believe he's dead. Now you're gonna have to tell me about Doctor Demonicus,
Dr. Demonicus.
because this
Ooh.
man unleashes Humunga. Am I getting all these names right?
Yeah, Kamunga.
Humunga.
That's the tarantula. That's the tarantula, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely disgusting work here. His banner watches and discussed as Dr. Demonicus unleashes Kumunga on a trapped Mothra to lure Godzilla.
Oh,
Punk
mother.
shit. This is punk shit. Don't be messing with the homies to make motherfuckers come out of their woodwork, because this is some bullshit right here. I don't think that this should have worked here. Mothra, always a baby face, always a good guy,
Yep, always.
always. I saw it when it was doing that shit. What is it? They flew past people, was blowing up their houses. Is that Mothra? Was that? I mean, again, hurricane, right? A hurricane's not bad or good. A hurricane's just a hurricane. So maybe Mothra's just Mothra. I always wanted in Godzilla versus Kong for there to be a save Mothra moment. I wanted Kong to save Mothra. Why did you say that name? He could have went. It's his mother's name. Anyway, um,
Oh shit.
the bait works and Godzilla arrives in San Antonio, Texas, unleashing chaos. Ross and Banner pilot two Mecha Godzilla units into the fray, but the King of Monster easily overpowers them. I also like that. I like the idea that no matter how close we think we can get to what Godzilla is, we can't. Right? We can
Right?
make as many Mecha Godzillas as we want, but he will still, tear through their asses because not the real thing.
Facts. And not just one, but two Mechagodzillas. Because, like, in the past, Mechagodzilla gave Godzilla some issues.
Yeah,
Like, several iterations of the Mechagodzilla. Even the new one that came out, like, a few years ago,
yeah.
he was putting a pause on Godzilla until Kong stepped in and helped out.
I get it. I get
So
it.
to see this version of Godzilla take out two of them, oh yeah, no, this is a really powerful version of the character. There's just a statement.
Yeah. I also think that Mechagodzilla may predate the whole like evil robot villain thing, like Mechasonic and shit. Like I
Right.
think it
Oh
is the
yeah.
originator of like we've taken your enemy, or we've taken you and tried to make a robot version of it to take you down. He definitely predates all of that other stuff. Just as Ross demands Demonicus use a promised failsafe, the Doctor reveals his true plan. The Kaiju Incinerator is actually a womb for a new monster, Hedorah, the smog monster, who emerges to consume all life. Not good. Not only not good, but Hulk got nothing for this. Hulk like, fuck. What do we do? Does this smog monster make an appearance in the Godzilla film?
Oh yeah. All these monsters make a hella appearances in a lot of films. Ghidorah actually has. Yeah, no, Ghidorah. Yeah, the smog monster with the one eye
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
looks like a black, just nightmare fuel basically.
How beautiful did that
Yeah,
look
no.
in whatever year they put that out? Did that work? Did it look convincing, or was it just like a man in a black leotard with one
You
eye in the middle?
you could tell it was a costume,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
because like all the films are like that. You can tell.
yeah.
Like in like later versions of the film, like they got better. Like there's a CGI version of the character, so it looks better.
Okay, okay. And again, I don't even front that stuff. You can get lost in the Godzilla being in a suit. I think it's a little bit weird with the Jet Jaguars, and you see wrinkles in in their armor a little bit. I think that makes it whatever. But if it's two kaiju's, I mean, I watch Power Rangers. I know all about the man in the suit, kind of stuff. And
Right.
it's so funny how those two even tie into each other, right? Power
Mhm.
Rangers and Super Sentai and all the other things to do, and Spider Man who gets taken over in there in
Right.
Japan and stuff. So, in the chaos, Hedorah attacks Godzilla, and Banner finally loses control. The Hulk emerges, and Demonicus, stunned, asks who they buried in the Hulk's place. The Hulk's answer is Rick Jones. Again, very confused. I think if I knew this part of the Hulk's history, I would be more. Oh yeah, this is exactly what. Because I know like the spider stuff happens literally right after the Secret Wars, right?
Mm.
Avengers happens during the Civil War because we have the new Avengers and Maria Hill's there and stuff. We have they talk about the Thor thing being around when Punisher was in the hand, thing around that stuff.
Right. He was a leader
Yeah,
for
I
a
can't.
second.
I don't think I
Yeah.
can remember 100% where the X Men stuff of it all comes in. But yeah, I will not. I mean, I can't lie. I think Hulk is a bit of a blind spot to me as far as like seminal moments in his history, where I guess Rick Jones took the fall for Bruce Banner and died, but again came back because comics.
Right.
Hedorah begins to melt Ross's Mechagodzilla. The Hulk pulls Ross to safety, then drives a live power cable into Godzilla's chest to reawaken him. Literally, the clear to the King of Monsters. And then he spills his own gamma-rich blood into the wound, and I'm like, this can't be good.
This I saw coming.
Yeah.
Like just from yeah, just I'm like, oh, Hulk and Godzilla. Godzilla's gonna get some gamma.
Oh
I'm calling
no.
it. Like
Uh,
it, 'cause you cannot not have that happen.
yeah. But it's bugged out. Like the panel of him squeezing his own blood into Godzilla's wound is very like metal and badass, and
I fucking love Hulk comics for that. Hulk comics go so hard when it comes to the gore.
it could be nightmare fuel sometimes. So
Facts.
so yeah, he pours his own gamma-rich blood into the wound, and Godzilla ends up absorbing the Hulk's power. Now, Gamma Godzilla The monster unleashed a blazing green beam of atomic breath that incinerates Hedorah, leaving only burning sludge that then consumes Demonicus. In the aftermath, Hulk frees Kumunga and Godzilla frees Mothra. Two titans, monster to monster, stand eye to eye before collapsing from exhaustion. Banner emerges and Ross raises a gun at him, but Godzilla's roar makes him hesitate. Like they got friends in high places. Banner Banner explains that monsters stick together, urging Ross to end his endless war. Ross lowers his gun, unaware that a smear of Hedorah's sludge clings to his. Does that mean that he's still around? Out here in the streets? So
Yeah, basically.
how many Godzillas does Godzilla versus Hulk get?
I gave this one. Hmm. I'm gonna give this one. Fuck it, 4 Godzillas.
Four Godzillas! Four Godzillas! Gang gang. Um, the next one I thought was really, really cool. Godzilla versus Spider-Man, written by Joe Kelly, who we interviewed as part of the major discourse. Joe Kelly's currently writing Amazing Spider-Man as we speak. Writer of I Killed Giants, co-creator of Ben 10, etc., and so forth. And all the art in here is by Nick Bradshaw. And like I said, this is right after the events of Secret Wars, where Spidey has a brand new black alien suit. So, swinging through New York in his new black suit, Spider-Man quickly defeats the Shocker until the ground shakes with the roar of Godzilla. Shocker surrenders on the spot. And Spider-Man realizes he can't fight Godzilla. His only choice is to save civilians until the Avengers arrive. Horrified, Spider-Man realizes Godzilla is heading for his apartment, where Mary Jane Watson is. He saves her just as Godzilla smashes the building, but in her panic, MJ calls him by his name, revealing she's known his secret for years. The moment is interrupted by Black Cat, who embraces Spider-Man and calls him lover, sparking a tense confrontation between the two. Peter, flustered, tells Black Cat to get MJ to safety, while he distracts Godzilla. What'd you think of this open?
Oh yeah, no, classic Spider-Man. Gotta love it. Just a normal day fighting villains, and then some shit hits the fan somewhere else that you got to deal with. Peter, what are you gonna do? Well, what are you gonna do? Wait for the Avengers? I don't think you can.
Oh. And also classic Parker luck, right? It's like he is juggling seemingly two love interests at this time, or at least, holds some love still for Mary Jane. Well, obviously Black Cat is digging on Spider-Man. Now, here's a little fact about George you may not have known. I did not know that this lover thing was a comic thing. I remember it in the animated series. I remember her constantly calling him lover in the anime. So I thought it was like something they kind of made up there. But I guess it's always come here, lover. It's always been a thing.
Mhm.
And also like very comedic, still very comedic Spidey. And again, like when you talk about Parker Luck, the odds that you're the two in the city, right? The odds that the two women that you are messing with end up in the same street. Then you have this, they find out about each other. And you can't even sit there to explain on your behalf because you have to fight
A giant radioactive
humongous
fire-breathing rage monster.
Yes. And we've seen, and if you've played the second Spider-Man, him having to take down like Sandman in kaiju form, right? Like we've seen him try to take down these big characters, but even when we get like to the X-Men of it all, one of the things I find interesting is that up front they're like, yeah, we can't do anything to him. Like his skin is fucking like, titanium. All the years, and I kind of like that design too, like almost like the scar, the constant like healing over itself. Like he is of tank at this point. And I want to say it's in the Fantastic Four issue that they think he's down, and they do like the -1 of the spike shooting up and turning blue, and then him shooting. Oh my god, bro! I was sending videos of that atomic breath from -1 to everybody. Like bing, 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 bing. I'm like, oh, it's about to go, it's about to go down. I wish
That's a great scene.
Yeah, I wish that more people saw it. Quick aside, how do you feel about Now with something like that, right? Godzilla -1. How do you feel our American versions fare that stuff? Are you digging like the still like the MonsterVerse stuff, like Kong
Yeah.
versus and stuff?
I'm loving the MonsterVerse because as it grows, they just keep introducing more monsters. As long as they keep the plots, simple, because it's Godzilla. It doesn't need to be that complicated.
Yeah, yeah,
We're here to see monsters fight at the end of the day, you know.
yeah. They got to be very careful about because I mean even with -1 has human. They have to choose how they're gonna tell the
Now,
story.
right now, -1, I went in knowing like this is a story is getting told here.
Yeah.
Just from how the marketing was for that movie versus like the MonsterVerse movies.
Hmm.
Like I go in with a different mindset versus MonsterVerse.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. MonsterVerse, you're taking your two action figures and smashing them against each other,
Yeah,
basically, and you want to have
this
the
you're
fun
sitting
from that.
down, right, and this you're sitting down, you're reading a book, you
Yes,
know.
100%. So as he leads Godzilla away, Peter's black suit screams and peels off, wrapping itself around the monster. The suit is the living Venom symbiote and has now found a new host under. And then I'm like, so yeah, so like, it is like the stages of hell, right? Because it's like, hey, by the way, Godzilla's here. Oh, by the way, he now has the Venom symbiote. Oh, by the way, this has now activated and alerted Null of all people, God of the symbiotes, which I don't think they've ever tied back to this original moment, like this timeline yet. A lot of the Null stuff
Right.
kind of sits around um Venom and Carnage and
Mhm.
that sort of it all, but it would have started here. This would have been the first like, oh shit, it's on Earth kind of stuff. Um, how you feeling about No? I hear a bunch of people like kind of on the fence after, like, because he's rumored to be back
Oh,
soon, right?
at the King of Black. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I heard a rumor because like yeah, no, like I love Noel. First of all, first and foremost, just he's one of the, if not one of the most powerful characters in Marvel. Lord of the Abyss, Slayer of Celestials, Jesus Wept,
oh
Necro
well, there are
Sword.
the all black. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, dude's a bam. Like, I want to see more of him. Like, I would love to see him and like just because like they know right now there's like a war going on with the gods of Marvel.
Yeah,
Like,
in
so
Storm, right?
yeah. So like hopefully he has a return. He is a god. You can't really kill something that feeds off death.
Yes, yes, yes. And like some of these villains are never meant to be completely gone. Like Mephisto still hangs out, right? Like he's never
Right.
defeated. And I think that's the same thing that stands with Godzilla. It's like the best you can hope is that he's like, all right, this was a fair one, and I'm gonna go home. Like that's the best you can hope for with him. Um, so as he leads, did that, yeah. So, under the symbiote's influence, Godzilla, now partially linked to the god of symbiotes, Null, becomes an even more terrifying engine of destruction. Spider-Man, now in his classic suit, returns with Shocker's gauntlets, which he recalibrated to mimic Godzilla's roar. He blasts the symbiote from its host, but the backlash sends him spiraling. Godzilla catches him, but the fight is not over because the Venom symbiote reconstitutes itself into an even larger, more grotesque version of Godzilla. This is the animated series opener where the Venom symbiote is just its own big,
Right.
big thing. So, like,
Spider-Man.
at least that's the first thing I thought.
Spider-Man.
It's probably happened in other instances as well, but this is like, I think it's even happened in the comics as well, where he had that dream where kind of being tugged between the
Hmm.
two things here. But that's definitely what I thought. What's your idea on that? Do you like the symbiote being able to kind of just
Yeah,
constitute itself?
because it is its own entity, and going in this one, I did foresee this happening too,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I'm like, oh, he has a black suit, Godzilla. Oh, Godzilla's going to get the
yeah.
symbiote. I just don't know how.
And it probably has more in common with Godzilla than it does Peter, with its unknown origins and all this other kind of right, like all this is like
Right.
other stuff here, and it makes sense because we know that they do take a piece of every one of their hosts, right? That's part of their codex is a little bit of what they've learned and what they've figured out there. So I totally dig that as well. Um, the Venom symbiote recon, yep, did that. With a roar, sorry, Godzilla, free from its influence, adapts. With a roar, he incinerates Venom with a blast of atomic breath, scattering the ooze in the Hudson River. Days later, a reporter named Eddie Brock finds a camera in the ruins. Just as he's about to steal the photos, the Venom symbiote, mutated by its fusion with Godzilla, lashes out and bonds with him. Eddie emerges as a new terror, God Venom.
That I did not see coming.
Me either. I wonder if God Venom is going to be in Spider Verse versus Venom Verse.
Ooh,
Exists now, right? Like he's a thing
right.
now.
That is a thing.
How many Godzillas?
I give this one. I gave it. It felt kind of short because I wanted some more. Like a
Yeah,
little bit more conflict. So I give this one three Godzillas.
3 Godzillas. I agree because I also don't think that the Venom symbiote as it as itself is that menacing of a villain because it's just a symbiote. Not
Right.
not trying to say it ain't powerful. Not trying to say that it couldn't do what was done here, but I feel like it's like halfway through the story he gets the symbiote. 2 pages later he loses the symbiote. 2 pages later they're fighting the symbiote, and then 2 pages later it's over. that's that's,
Right.
that's kind of how it felt like to me, and I kind of wanted to see in the worst parts of my power scaling mind, I did want to see what Peter could do to Godzilla, and I feel like we kind of had to, you know. I just wanted to see. I wanted to see. I wanted to see. I wanted to give my man some feats. You feel me? Uh,
Peter would have figured something out. He would have did some trickery, like probably like an oil truck on the
something in his
ground, make
mouth.
Godzilla slip.
Yeah, something. He
Right.
put something in
Web
his
his
mouth.
mouth, web his
Slingshot something.
eyes.
Um. So okay, so it's going now. It's going Spider-Man, and then we're tied up with Hulk and Fantastic Four. That's the first
Mhm.
half of this series here. Um, I think the next one is possibly the biggest cop out one. But as a Godzilla fan, I deeply want to know what your reaction was to Godzilla versus the X-Men, written by Fabian Nicieza. Uh, incredibly important artist to the X-Men lore that writer to the X-Men lore that I'm probably butchering his name, and artist Emilio Lazio. Um, oh, sorry, Lazo. So I thought again, right, that my boys were gonna be like boots on the ground fighting Godzilla, and I feel like not even halfway through, a couple pages through, they're like, oh yeah, we can't beat it. Us as it stands, like Cyclops is like, I can't break through his skin, and they're all like, we can't beat him. So their idea is to create a Megazord, right? It's to create a like an Amazo type Megazord. I'm almost certain the human adaptoid probably even predates Amazo, but same kind of thing. It's an android who's able to replicate the powers of others. So we start off at a shipyard in Japan where the mutant Sunfire unleashes his fiery power against Godzilla, an explosive showdown. But the mutant solar powered attacks are not much for the king of monsters. Overpowered, Sunfire is hurled into the ocean, humbled by his defeat, and Godzilla's atomic breath then destroys the Tsugunai robotics facility. The third such attack in as many weeks before he vanishes in the sea. Meanwhile, Professor Xavier convenes a holographic conference with Japanese officials, including Mr. Kaneko. Kaneko argues that brute force is the only way to stop Godzilla, but Xavier insists on a more measured approach. He notes the precision of Godzilla's attacks and suggests they are purposeful, not random. Xavier admits he cannot judge what he does not understand, but assures everyone that the X-Men are ready to fight if it becomes. You got any background on Kaneko? Just goes
Okay.
up. Kaneko?
The name sounds familiar, but no, I don't know. But I was digging what Charles was saying. Like, even against insurmountable odds, the X-Men still rise into the challenge, even though it's completely stupid at this point. Like, y'all really about to fight this thing? Really? For real?
Right. And even then, it's um, like you said, and this kind of goes to Rose in general, but this idea that he's like, oh yeah, I should kill Godzilla because you fear what you don't understand. we deal with that shit every day. Like I deal with that shit every day. People trying to kill us all the time because they don't understand us. Um, there was an idea that was like, because you think it's doing this for a reason, you think that they can be reasoned with. He's like, yeah. I was like, oh, I never thought about it like that. Charles is Magneto would have tried to kill this man. Magneto would have been like, what are we doing? I'll figure it out. I will kill this shit out of him. So in the danger room, the X-Men prepare for a kaiju-sized battle. Cyclops' optic blast barely phased the giant targets, and the team realizes their usual powers are insufficient. Xavier reveals he's devising a solution to increase their effective size, and the Commission on Superhero Activities has approved their involvement. Gambit, tasked with a covert mission, infiltrates a storage depot to retrieve the super adaptoid. Plan is to shrink the android using pin particles so the X-Men can transport it. You're putting together an X-Men team to fight Godzilla. Who's on your team?
To fight Godzilla?
Fight
Like,
Godzilla.
are we talking about the main roster or like the entire roster
The
of
entire
X-Men?
roster of X-Men.
Holy shit! All right.
Give me
Fuck.
5.
5.
Yeah.
Fuck. Phoenix Jean Grey.
Okay.
I'll be specific.
Yeah.
Storm.
Uh-huh.
Shit. Mm, mm. Now, wait, is it Vulcan? The third Summers brother.
Is he X-Men?
Yeah, Vulcan. Yeah, he's X-Men.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give you him.
Third Summers brother.
I remember him from War of Kings.
Right. Okay. Fucking Franklin Richards.
Franklin Richards. You think Shadowcat could like go in him, fuck with his heart or some shit?
Ooh.
Is that a thing?
I feel one.
Making shit up.
I like that.
I'm making shit up, but I'm hoping that would be a case. Here.
And my last one, Iceman.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go with Lockheed. He was no Lockheed was making the team. He's like, can you translate? Can you just tell him to leave, please, Lockheed? And Lockheed's like, bro, I don't speak Japanese. I don't know what you thought. I don't know what you thought this was. So back in Japan, Godzilla stalks another facility, sensing the human encroachment. The X-Men aboard the Blackbird track a cargo ship carrying the facility's components, which Godzilla is intent on destroying. Xavier senses Godzilla's rage, but still can't fully read his mind. Godzilla attacks the cargo ship, but the super adaptoid, now grown to kaiju-size, descends from the sky and mimics the powers of the X-Men. They unleash optic blasts like Cyclops, conjure storms like Storm, and deflect attacks with a telekinetic shield like Jean Grey. Sunfire checks in mentally, concerned that the adaptoid can't win, but Xavier assures them that the PIM particle-enhanced adaptoid has the combined power of the entire team. What did you think of this X-Men Megazord situation?
I thought it was dope. Like you said, the Megazord, I was like, shouts out to Power Rangers, because this is pretty cool, combining like the whole team into like a superpower like adaptoid thing, like use all their powers against Godzilla. Like you think on paper, you think that would work.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like it's the X-Men. They will put the paws to almost any like superpower team out there, anime and comics. Manga and comics, you know.
I'm surprised they were on the same page for a lot of this stuff, because this is like fresh ground for them. Like they've never dealt with something like this, and I don't know. I figured like some of the members would have been like, "Yo, we need to get out of here." You know, like this is not
like,
working.
You think Beast would have chimed in, and it would have been like, "Yeah, like Stars and Garters, I think it's time for us to vamoose."
Yes. You know, it would be in our very best interest. Yeah. Just as the adaptoid battles Godzilla, a new threat emerges from the cargo ship. Sorry, I just looked at the name and it was very hard to say. The Tri-Sentinel Mecha Kaiju.
Holy shit.
A monstrous hybrid of Sugunai and Trask technology. Half Sentinel and half every other kaiju that's ever existed.
Whew.
Godzilla immediately
also on paper you think that will work.
Yeah, right? Godzilla immediately, and then again, it's so crazy because you do have like these what is it called? Like woe is me, or you know, like all is lost moments in these comics. But then you have to remember that like this is a one shot. Like this has to end. You know, like it has to conclude itself in a couple pages. So Godzilla immediately shifts his attention to this greater enemy. Xavier urges the X-Men to unite with Godzilla to defeat it. The super adaptoid lifts the mecha with a tornado, exposing it to Godzilla's atomic breath. They're double teaming this bad boy. While the adaptoid slashes Wolverine's claws, Godzilla rips the mecha apart. Humanity's reliance in their own created monsters is no match for the king of monsters. Which again just goes back to God or Godzilla laughing at man for thinking that anything
Yeah.
that it can do. You know, again, like we think we are hot shit because we made the wheel and stuff. And we made fire. We didn't make fire, we created fire, which has already existed. And so our hubris, our cockiness has led us to do a bunch of horrible things, not only to this planet, but creatures, anything we don't understand, people we don't understand. And Godzilla sees the worst in humanity. And it is Xavier's
Mm.
idea to almost try to get him to understand that not all of humanity is like this. Um, so I liked all of this kind of put together this way. Again, the metaphor still always tracks. He still always laughs at like we put together like 10 stage plans. And he like backhands it and it's over, you know, or swings his tail or atomic breath and it's over. So um as Kaneto cowers, because we've realized that he might have had something to do with this. He's the one who wanted Godzilla dead. Xavier dives into Godzilla's memories and he witnesses a past battle where Godzilla fought Angurus.
Yep, Anguirus.
Anguirus. A fight that resulted in the death of Kaneto's father. Xavier realizes that Godzilla's
Ah.
intent was to stop Anguirus, not to harm Kaneto's father, a tragic misunderstanding. It's too late because he already set the X-Men on to kill this man. But when Kaneto accuses the X-Men of siding with the monster, they reply that as mutants, they understand what it means to protect a world that fears and hates them. Godzilla leaves, and the X-Men are left to deal with a new, dangerous kind of human. Kaneto, humbled by the truth, admits his misjudgment of Godzilla, and Sunfire realizes the real monster in the mirror all along. Which
Damn.
I thought that felt the most Godzilla, like a lesson at the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
It did. That
and
felt very reminiscent of the old Godzilla films. Well,
not
at the end of it, like the humans are all watching Godzilla go off into the ocean. They're all like
what
basically
have we
having a
learned?
monologue about
Yeah, like what have we
basically.
learned? Now I may be spoiling a little bit, but is that not one of the plot points in one of those Godzilla King Kong things? The idea that somebody's father had passed away, got killed in one of these kaiju battles, and now the son has come back to.
He came back, but that there was no like subplot or plot for him. It was just like, oh, this is our son.
Okay,
He's working with us.
okay,
That's it.
that's all we got. But
Right, because like it was wasted because his father sacrificed himself in the King of the Monsters to wake up Godzilla to save everyone.
mm,
Like, and they did nothing with that.
classic, classic. Um, so how many Godzillas? Godzilla versus X-Men.
I give this one 4 out of 5 Godzillas.
4 out of
That
5
list, it
Godzillas.
was it hit home.
I have a
It was
question. Does anything here get 5 Godzillas? We have 2 stories left.
oh yeah, no one
Yeah.
gets one gets 5.
Okay. You heard that here, folks. You got to listen to the rest to figure out which one it is. But we are on story number 5. Godzilla versus the Avengers, written by David F. Walker and pencils by George Ginty. Um, this, like I said, takes place around the time of Civil War. On a Shield helicarrier, Agent Maria Hill, who I freaking miss. I'm so upset that she's gone in the
Mm.
MCU. She was a lead
Right,
in
she
so many
killed off
brilliant stories.
so unceremoniously.
Not only that, but like Shield. Like when you think that like the 7th movie in the MCU just was like Shield gone forever. It was Hydra, and now it's gone forever. And we're like 30 films in now. We're like 23 films since
And
the destruction of
uh,
Shield.
whew,
And
we're like
so
34, 35 films in now.
yeah, so it's like it was very bold of them to decide they wanted to do the Hydra, get rid of Shield thing up front, and that's why they kind of stuck Fury like in Sword and in Saber and all this other kind of stuff. as because
Mm.
Shield's gone. I have a theory that they might be bringing it back because they are doing at New York Comic Con this year, part of the TV panel, a reunion for the Agents of Shield cast. Which I don't know why you would do something like that. Why would you like make everybody sad unless you were going to be like we're doing something? All these guys are going to be in Doomsday or some other shit. Clark Gregg deserves more. Daisy deserves more. Can
Yes.
can we get our Shield back? I think the world was more interesting when Shield was in it, and I think if you
Hmm.
create Shield, you are allowed to then have the anti-heroes are bigger because you already have somebody trying to stop crime from happening. So now the anti-heroes have to not only stop villains, but they also have to make sure they're not on Shield's radar because they'll get stopped there too. Um, yeah, Kaiju Chasers United. Are they new from here, or is this is also a Godzilla thing? This feels like a newer Power Ranger
Right.
kind of
A
thing.
little bit. A little bit.
Yeah. Um. So yeah. So this whole issue, I did like the framing of this issue. Majority of it exists
Mm.
in a debrief that the very beaten down Avengers are giving Maria Hill. So instead of just like starting the story from when the first event happens, you're kind of having these very proud Avengers try to explain why they got mollywopped in Godzilla. And Maria Hill is not trying to hear it. She's not very happy. Um, Hill blames them for the collateral damage during a recent battle between Godzilla and Fan Foom in Astoria, Oregon. I also like that they make fun of the fact that he wears little pants. I always thought that was hilarious. Not to
Right.
be naked, he wears pants. How many pants does he have? How does he put them on? I think all these are interesting questions that the MCU should be
Who
trying
produces
to.
those pants?
Yes, bro, we made up a dragon for Shang Chi. Like I don't know why they couldn't just find a way to put Fang Fu in this bitch. I've been waiting for my man to show back up. Uh, just that face, that long ass, that long ass face with the nostrils. Hilarious, hilarious stuff. And is there any world in which Fing Fang Foom beats Godzilla? No, right?
Hell no.
Hell no.
Hell no.
The greatest Fing Fang Foom I've ever seen is the one in Guardians of the Galaxy in the game. And he's like kind of terrifying. He's being led by like the Queen of Monsters, somebody else like that, which would have been interesting to put in a MonsterVerse, series like this. But as they're getting chewed out, the new Avengers defend themselves, arguing that they were unprepared for the scale of the threat, which is true.
Very
Spider-Man
true.
struggled without buildings to swing from, which again is something no one ever thinks about. I remember when somebody pointed that out when I was watching Spider-Man the animated series. I think it was even maybe Fox that pointed it out, Fox Kids, where they froze an
Mm.
image and they're like, "Where's the web going? Where is the web? There's nothing to hold on to. Where is he swinging from?" Um, and poor Spidey and Wolverine, they both already dealt with this. They both already dealt with Hulk in their respective stories, and now are on the Avengers, and they're like, "Oh, by the way, Godzilla's back." Sorry, they both already dealt with Godzilla, and now he's back, and they have to deal with him in the Avengers. Cage was nearly crushed, even though he's damn near indestructible. Wolverine, who has a healing factor, was still severely burned from Godzilla's atomic breath, and they all admit their shortcomings. And they basically are kind of blame it on the idea that they don't have Hulk or Thor on the team, which bit fair there.
It's fair. Right.
And just when they're getting their butts handed to them, Jet Jaguar shows up out of the chaos and arrives and manages to separate the two monsters. However, the robot is flawed. It's AI allowing Godzilla to tear its arm off. As the fight raged, Iron Man, Luke Cage, and Spider Man struggled with Godzilla while Captain America protected the civilians. Eventually, Fing Fang Foom was trapped in a. Hill is skeptical of the Kaiju Chasers' claim that they built a giant robot that could grow to 150 feet. But Captain America is impressed by their ingenuity. Brief argument breaks out when Hill misnames the group, but Bonnie Buki clarifies their mission. The new Jet Jaguar was assembled from salvaged materials, but had a critical flaw in its AI, which put lives in danger. Hill, exasperated, continues her interrogation while the team bickers, even speculating about Fing Fang Foom's gender and. Do you have a big background with Jet Jaguar?
I really don't. That's like really one of my blind spots. Like I've seen him in plenty of like Godzilla movies, but I've never like sat down and watched Jet Jaguar. Like I'm here for all the
Yeah,
wah,
yeah.
wah, wah. Like I'm here for it all, but like I've never just sat down and watched Jet Jaguar. Even like, oh wait, no, I think I did. There was a Netflix series, Godzilla's, I think Singular Point or something. There was like a Jet Jaguar in that. I guess that counts.
Yeah, I guess it counts. Jet Jaguar war. Yeah. So there was a woman here named Buki. I think Bonnie, maybe. And so her father is Goro Ibu, who is the original inventor of Jet Jaguar. Um, it was stolen by the Seatopians and used to guide their guardian monster Megalon in his destruction of the
Mm.
surface world. I'm trying to see if they have Ace of Emergence. Godzilla versus Megalon is the film in which this that Jaguar first premiered. And his last appearance was in Fest Godzilla 5, All Monsters Showdown. Did you at least see that?
Mm.
Is that where they killed Zilla? No, that's new. It's a 2024 Kaiju short film.
Oh, okay.
It's still 13 minutes.
Hey, check that out. Oh, I definitely check that out.
And literally the previous years was called Best Godzilla 4 Operation Jet Jaguar. So my boy Jet is all over the set. Uh so they recount how the battle began when Fang Foom, napping on a bridge, was awoken by Godzilla trampling through town. The dragon, declaring himself king of the monsters, saw Godzilla as a rival, and a tail swipe from Godzilla finally provoked him into a full-scale brawl. This is basically a kaiju pissing contest. And I don't think Fang Foom's arms are long enough to box with God. Since I think it has figured out what's going down. After regrouping, the new Avengers and Kaiju Chasers launch a final plan to lure Godzilla away. Iron Man's strategy works perfectly, and Godzilla retreats. Wolverine, enraged, demands the monster return, prompting a sharp quip from Spider-Woman. Captain America sternly warns the Kaiju Chasers never to deploy untested technology. Such a dad.
Always.
After all that, they're like,
Always.
yeah, after all that, it still comes back to say your prayers and take your vitamins. But Jet Jaguar, the Earth's mightiest heroes, the king of monsters. What does Avengers versus Godzilla get?
Ooh. It gets a solid three.
A
Three Godzillas
three.
out of me.
Interesting, interesting. Okay, so we have a couple threes, we have a couple fours, and I think I know what this next one's gonna get. But this
Yes,
one is
sir.
this one is the one that takes place mostly in modern day. Um, so in a remote Japanese citadel. Oh, sorry, Godzilla vs. Thor by Jason Aaron and Aaron Cooter. In a remote Japanese citadel, the archpriestess of the hand has gathered a group of killers. Now, this is again after Frank found himself as almost like the fist of the hand,
Mhm.
like Conchu, um, or sorry, like Noom Knight is to Conchu. And so they are trying to get enough blood sacrifices so that they could release an entity that will soon be resurrected. Their blood rains down on the heart of Godzilla, which, though disembodied, still beats with the restless souls of the war dead. Days later, Godzilla rampages through Tokyo, delighting the archpriestess, but her celebration is interrupted by the god of thunder, Thor. That guy always makes the best fucking entrance. I think
Always.
maybe in
Oh,
Marvel
how it
history.
has the like he has the best speeches and the best entrances.
Yeah. And just when you think, oh, there's no way Thor's a part of this, like, boom, right there. So Yep. Thor strikes Godzilla with Mjolnir, but Godzilla counters with a headbutt and atomic breath. First of all, you know what a headbutt is? Head is that fucking big to a man? Could you headbutt a fly?
Bruh.
What kind of shit? Uh, I don't know how physics works, but this is very impressive. Thor
In
uses
that initial hit, like, didn't Thor like crack one of Godzilla's teeth out?
yeah, yeah.
That was a testament because I've never ever seen that shit ever with Godzilla getting his teeth knocked out.
I could totally see
I've never
Thor.
seen that.
I could totally see Thor bringing home the tooth to put in Odin's trophy room. Like, father,
Fuck yeah.
you have no idea what I just dealt with. Uh, so Thor uses his hammer to summon a tornado, lifting the monster into the air to continue their fight without destroying the city. After hours of battle, Thor opens a portal to Jotunheim, freezing Godzilla solid. Is that fair? Is that fair on the streets to put him in?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, yeah, totally. We use all the weapons at our disposal. The fuck?
yeah,
We
yeah,
don't
yeah,
believe in fair fights.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, you started
I
off
believe in
atomic, so like, and I have no atomic power, so we're just gonna we'll figure this out.
I believe in overwhelming force.
Yes, yes. Hey, uh, no half measures. Weeks later, the archpriestess and her ninja kill the soldiers guarding the frozen Godzilla in Jotunheim. Or they give him a sliver of the all black necro sword. And again, like, what are we doing here? And then I was like, my boy Gore. And then I was like, I started to remember Gore. You want to talk about someone who needs a Marvel Comics like resurrection? He need Gore back, right?
Man, especially how they did him in Love and Thunder. Oh my gosh.
I I thought that character was so exciting in his initial introduction. I thought that storytelling mechanism of constantly going back and forth in time, deal with King Thor,
Mm,
young brash Thor, and then like the main line Thor. Taught us so much about that character and the burdens of that that he deals with. Um, I read a bit of Donny Cates' Thor, but I haven't been reading too much of the Immortal Thor that's going on right now. And I even said, um, I have issues if I really like a run. I have issues getting into the
mm,
next run because I almost feel
really?
like when it closes, that was my story closing. For instance, I loved Immortal Hulk. Loved Immortal Hulk. Read every single issue. We did like a 3 hour breakdown on the podcast about it. But then they were like, and all new Hulk #1, and I was like, I think I'm good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I have my Thor story. You know, if you've read Hickman's Fantastic Four, it blows up into Secret War. It's like so huge, and you don't feel like picking up the next. Oh, we're just gonna fight the moment. Like, it just feels like Godzilla, the Immortal God, Immortal Hulk, like ends with like him versus the one below all, finding out that he's from the he has powers from the one above all, and the green hell and all that, the door, all that kind of shit. It had blown up to such proportions that I didn't really want to see it kind of scale down again. So similar with the Thor of it all, I did read the Donny Cates one where he at one point, I want to say it was the Herald of Galactus, or at least got some
Yeah.
power cosmic.
Yeah, he was the hero of Galactus for a hot second to fight the Black Winter.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I dug that. I really dug, and this is a bit of a tangent. I really dug the story of Donald Blake. So like
Oh
he
yeah,
stuck him in that.
that shit was crazy.
Yeah, he stuck him in that like dimension that was supposed to be like a dimension where he would never want anything, and it looks like a perfect version of Earth, and whatever. And he figures out that it's fucked, and he kills everybody in it, and then finds a way to escape. Oh, so good, so good. And then I want to say that ends with Loki trapping Donald Blake. Spoiler alert! In a very Norse like torture device where
Yeah,
venom from a snake is dripping into the eyes of of
that's
him, like,
literally
for
I think
eternity.
that was Loki's first
Yeah, yeah,
punishment.
100%.
Actually,
He was like, I think I got one for him. I think I know one. Let me try this out. Um, but yeah, uh, Thor returns to Asgard to find the remains of the gods, all victims of Godzilla, the God Butcher. Um, Thor rushes to battle the newly empowered demon, tackling him head on. The war rages through the 10 realms, and Godzilla's necro breath consumes entire planets. He hits Thor with a point blank blast, but the God of Thunder recovers, summoning every storm in existence. Dodges another blast, flies into Godzilla's mouth, and lands a final potent blow, channeling the super storm through himself and Mjolnir, he rushes at the monster, triggering a massive explosion that kills them both. Kills them both. Boom, boom, boom.
Yo, them splash pages, the, the cosmic maelstrom, the storm to end all cosmic storms was summoned here, people.
Yeah.
This gets, spoiler alert, 5 Godzillas.
Oh, yeah. And like the scope, their fight through the 9 realms, like the panels, the gravitas, everything in this. And again, this is a versus. I don't think I got verses in the other ones. I felt like at this point they were all like helping him to fight something. And again, that's fine. But this was the first time it felt like I got what
This
I
was an
ordered.
actual versus.
Yeah, I ordered a
Right.
fight between Godzilla and Thor, and I kind of got one. And you can make excuses for the all black kind of changing things and stuff like that. But I love that Thor never stops in this. Like he has some moments of doubt, but he's like, no, like we'll fucking figure this out. Um,
Mm.
the Archpriestess disappears into the woods, but the battle continues in hell. Godzilla's heart and fragments of Mjolnir, still sparking with power, float through space, promising the eventual return of both God and monster. It says gods to be reborn down through the ages and monsters who will never die. And Godzilla doesn't die, right? I know he's been like kind of killed. Doesn't he always end up in the ocean and come back?
Basically.
Like Thor's
Like,
tied
as
to
long as it's,
Ragnarok, so he's always gonna kind of come back. Like that's the cyclical nature of Asgard and the Norse gods. And is it the same thing for Godzilla? Like is he just time will tell? He will rise again.
yeah, basically, if his heart's still beating in the ocean, oh yeah, he'll just regenerate. Give it time.
Yeah. Um, I think one of the other crazy things about this is that like I'm collecting these, and I have all these versions. The fighter kind of card, like the boxing card kind of matchups.
Oh, okay.
Um, because I thought that would look pretty cool. So, but I'm collecting these. I put it on the schedule to cover. I start reading them and realize that they're more like buddy team up comics. And then Marvel goes, "Hey, we're doing Godzilla versus the Marvel Universe as its own separate series with Godzilla versus the Marvel Universe #1, where you will see the Marvel Universe heroes go one on one with the King of Monsters." And I go, "Then what was this?" But I like them for their poppy nature. I like them for their ability to step into certain prime, seminal moments inside the Marvel universe to tell these stories. Like when I initially thought they would all just take place back to back, I do like this tour throughout the big moments of Marvel's history where they can come and point all this kind of stuff. What would have happened if Godzilla showed up? Maybe that's what the X-Men story should have been. If Godzilla would have shown up in the Dark Phoenix saga.
Ooh.
If he would have felt
Oh
like
my
a
God.
a primordial force of nature show up, and he just kind of shows up in there. Because I think besides that, all the other ones, like I said, took place at a very important part. Symbiote Saga is a very important part. The Coming of Galactus is an important part. I'll figure out the Hulk thing soon, and then like the Avengers and Thor of it all. I thought that all that worked. I would probably say my favorite is Thor. Second favorite is Spider-Man because I think there's very little I don't like when it's just Spider-Man in general. If that makes sense. Like he gets extra points because he's Spider-Man. So the comic gets extra points because I just like Spider-Man. And then I would probably go Avengers to round out my top three.
Okay.
What were your top three?
Top three, definitely Thor. And surprisingly, Fantastic Four. And yeah, Spider-Man.
Yeah. I guess Spidey. I like the Avengers for the laughs of it. It was very modern coded of like
Yeah.
it being an interview that then cuts to the actual fight. I thought that was really, really cool. But this was just a little bit of a foray into the Marvel universe, and obviously this is Elseworlds because all the endings of this almost speak to something bigger than what was going on in this universe. God Venom, stuff like that. Like these are Elseworlds
Right.
that continue into something else. And when they do drop the straight up Godzilla versus Marvel Universe, fingers crossed that that thing is a modern classic and it has all the ability to be um, one of the most ultimate crossovers in Marvel history. And speaking of which, the end of this podcast also is the beginning of a very special time for the Major Issues podcast because we are about to get into the Ultimate Universe is wrapping up very soon. You've probably already seen the solicitations for Ultimate Endgame, which promises things to make money, so I don't know, but promises to be the end of the Ultimate Universe as we know it. So next week we will be tackling uh the Ultimate Universe one shot and Ultimate Invasion, which is the beginning of all of this fun. Uh and then that will be followed by us dissecting Ultimate Spider-Man, dissecting Ultimate X-Men, dissecting Ultimate Black Panther, dissecting the Ultimates, and finally, the man who probably was a little bit too much dissected, dissecting Ultimate Wolverine. And by the time that that happens, Ultimate Incursion would have finished up, where Miles goes over to the Ultimate Universe for a bit. I think that that's kind of issue 3-ish right now, maybe issue 4. Um, and we will be ready for whatever is to come from this. Have you read the? Are you following the Ultimate line at all? What do you think? What do you think about it?
A little bit, a little bit. I'm following a little bit. I'm just waiting for it to finish so I can just read through it all.
Yeah, week to week
But
is a bit
a lot
hard.
of good.
Um, Spidey kills it week to week though. Like if you find a way to like read Ultimate Spider-Man week to week, I feel like every week is a bomb dropped, and you're like, oh my god, now what? I find
So
myself
I
care.
that's why I want to wait.
Yeah. I find myself caring so much about a lot of these ultimate versions of these characters, and also simultaneously, Peach Momoko's like doing her own thing with the X Men. Like I feel like she's not telling anybody what she's doing. She's just doing her own X Men story that'll eventually.
She's killing it with the art though.
Yeah, she
She's killing
is.
it with the art style.
Yeah,
I love the artwork.
and bringing them back to being children is so innovative in regards to the X Men. I thought that was really really cool. So yeah, we're gonna dive into all of that. We saw some brand new success. We've hit 50,000 followers on Facebook, and we are breaking records in regards of engagement and views. I owe some of that to two blockbuster films that just came out, right? Superman, and Fantastic Four. But as conversations about those films dissolve, realize that all these blockbuster films, all of these television shows wouldn't be nothing without the comic books that inspire them. So while we wait for the next big Marvel movie, DC project, streaming television show from The Boys or something else like that, follow us in our journey talking about this Ultimate Universe stuff because I have no doubt in my mind that it will eventually be something everyone's talking about someday. But that wraps up our conversation here of Godzilla versus. If you liked what you heard here, or the people watching live on Facebook, go to comicbookclick.com. It's our one stop for everything comic book click. There is a concentrated effort now to push comicbookclick.com as our home. I love our existence in social media, but they are all under the rules of each particular brand. And if you have been on Facebook, if you have grown a following on any social media brand, you know that they don't need much to cut your ass off. They don't need much to block, ban, or demonetize you. And we do this for the people. We do this for the passion. So we are hoping to make comicbookclick.com your one-stop shop for everything that we do. That's why every single episode of the Major Issues podcast exists on there. That's why we are doing breaking news when it comes to comic news, gaming news, pop culture stuff, writing major articles. I just put an article out a couple days ago asking whether or not the DCEU or which version of Barbara Gordon the DCEU should introduce. Given that they're skipping right to Damien with Brave and the Bold, are we going to skip right to Oracle? Are we going to get a little Batgirl in there? Does a little Batgirl mean we're getting Killing Joke somewhere down the line? All very interesting. All very interesting. We've got Spider-Man rumors out there that we are decoding. just covered the recent price hike with PlayStations. But we're trying to stay on top of all the latest and greatest things to come to comic books and comic book media and the news that surrounds it. So go to comicbookclick.com. If you have a podcast app that you love and you don't really want to change it, one, we are definitely on it because we're on every single thing a podcast is available on: Podbean, Stitcher, the Apple Podcast app, Google Podcast, YouTube, Spotify, and more. So that's there. But we're also putting every time we do a video version of this podcast that exists on our YouTube, and the audio versions drop each and every Thursday. We're on episode 396, which means we are four-ish episodes away from episode 400. This podcast, that's bonkers numbers. Comic books don't get to 400, some of them. So it's been a terrific journey. We're only getting better. Our audience is only getting bigger. So get on the bandwagon before the bandwagon gets full. There's several ways we do all this stuff free of charge, and there's several ways for you guys that you guys can help us out. You can go to patreon.com/CBC Clubhouse, and for as little as 10 cents a day, $3 a month, you could help us afford the hardware and the software that we need to keep providing you guys content free of charge. It's pennies to you, but those things go a long way with buying equipment here, or sometimes even buying dinner as I sit over 5 different articles trying to piece through stuff like that. If I can save my time with buying a burrito while I do that kind of work, it helps tremendously. So thank you guys all for the Patreons that choose to give us money. You can go to our shop. If you go to comicbookclick.com and you hit that shop CBC link, it'll show you our merchandise and we get a kickback of every single thing purchased. So consider doing that. We are on CBC on Twitter and on Twitch at Major Issue CBC. We are, because I'm never going to call it X. We are at facebook.com/comicbookclick, Instagram at comicbookclick, and you can use that hashtag comicbookclick to talk about the newest, latest, and greatest things to come to comic books and comic book media. We share comicbookclick.com with the wonderful people over at Dirt Sheet Radio. Those guys are killing the game in all things of professional wrestling and pop culture. It is a tireless job, especially considering that they are currently covering both WWE and AEW pay-per-views, premium live events, whatever you want to call them. And it seems like WWE this year has gone out of their way to put a WWE event against every AEW event, which means that friends like Jonathan Escudero have to watch both events and then do post shows for both of them. It might kill the man. So go ahead and go to comicbookclick.com. Check out the Dirt Sheet Radio side of that. Show those guys some love because they are doing tremendous work, like I said, in the world of professional wrestling and pop culture. A rising tide raises all ships, and combined, Comic Book Click and Dirt Sheet Radio are hoping to raise the status of both our brands since we merged last year. So I really like what those guys are doing over there. If the people want to find you, A-Rob, where can they find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram at ARob the Marvel Guy, or you can find me on Facebook at Aaron Robertson, or you just Google me, ARob the Marvel Guy. Yeah, you can find me.
Yeah. You still snapping out there?
Oh yeah, we still snapping on them
Still
fools.
snapping. My boy's
Always.
killing on the new. He's snapping on them noobs in Marvel Snap, y'all. So if you're any Snap fans, go ahead and check out Omega Avenger. He's killing the game over here. But I think that's all my plugs. Like I said, man, just follow the bandwagon before the bandwagon gets full. I think I'd be joking, but like every single podcast, we have more followers, more engagement, more comments than before. And I want you guys to be a part of this growth because it's incredibly exciting. We have some interviews lined up with some pretty prolific creators in the comic book space that we're super excited for. We have cons that we are planning for, new merch right around the corner, and maybe even a redesign to the website. So check out all that and come back, and always come back because we are always here and we're always here for you. But there's nothing else left to say. But my name is George Serrano, aka The Don.
And I'm ARob the Marvel God.
And this has been our Godzilla versus recap and review. And remember, whether you are the byproduct of an atomic explosion, a gamma explosion, a little bit of super soldier serum, or find yourself to be Weapon X himself, remember, we're all monsters. Remember that you are the click. And always remember that you, yes, you, are worthy. Thanks, guys.